The easiest way to introduce this list would be to write something along the lines of theme parks, everyone's favorite pastime. But what if your adventure park had a dark, haunted secret? Most paranormal investigators agree that places with high traffic like hotels, clubs, and hospitals are more likely to have ghosts, even if the reasoning veers toward the pseudoscientific. It's hard to dispute that more hotels are haunted than mere apartment buildings. Considering that Disney World had 8.5 million guests in 2021 alone, theme parks definitely fit the high traffic descriptor. Though many parks boast a haunted house attraction or Halloween festival, true hauntings can also be found. This list will cover 10 different theme parks with 10 different ghost stories, spanning tales from standard ghostly face fair to harrowing urban legends. Number 10, Dorney Park. One of the staples of our horror movie carnival outside of creepy clowns, of course, is the sort of uncanny calliope music associated with carousels. It doesn't help that some carousels have been around for a full century. At Dorney Park in Allentown, Pennsylvania, one can find such a carousel. The antique carousel built by the Dentzel Carousel Company in 1921. The carousel doesn't just entertain Dorney Park patrons by day, however. Legend says that a white dressed ghost can be seen riding the antique carousel after dark as haunting music plays. Some even claim that the ghost is none other than the wife of the carousel's legendary architect, Danielle Muller. He carved a horse specifically as a gift for her, leading Mrs. Miller to become obsessed even after the grave, if the legends are to believe if the legends are to be believed. That is. Number 9, Universal Studios, Los Angeles. The Halloween-themed resort destination Universal Studios can be located in none other than sunny Los Angeles, California. And though the Visitors Entertainment Center, the original, opened to the public park, was built in 1965, the grounds on which the park was built were first used back when silent movies were still popular. With a history so rich, it's easy to imagine that Universal Studios has its fair share of ghosts. Some say that the ghost of actor Lon Chaney can be seen dressed as the Phantom of the Opera. In addition, some claim to see the ghost of an aviator, which may as well be the spirit of a man who fell to his death from a plane in 1915. The Apropos Terror Tram Halloween attraction even leaves after hours employees with tales of children giggling and footsteps coming from nowhere. Number 8, Gulliver's Kingdom Theme Park. This next theme park will be the first on the list to receive the abandoned designation. Gulliver's Kingdom Theme Park, once located near Mount Fuji, Kawaguchi Machi, Japan, was only open for 4 years before closing its doors in 2001 and leaving the park to the elements. However, every abandoned structure was removed in 2007. One of the most eerie-looking remnants is a 150-foot or 45-meter-long statue of Gulliver himself, tied to the ground and rotting away, though eerie-looking ruins do not a haunting make. For the brief 6 years of ruin, urban explorers did report odd sounds of laughter and shapes moving from shadows. Not for naught, the abandoned park can be found right next door to Akagura, Japan's infamous suicide forest. Number 7, Six Flags Great Adventure. The theme park Great Adventure was built in 1972 near Jackson, New Jersey, and was purchased by the Six Flags Company in 1977. Though the park is one of the most lucrative in the Six Flags chain, it was quite often historically the victim of many unfortunate circumstances. Perhaps most infamous was the tragic fire of the haunted house attraction in 1984, which claimed the lives of 8 teenagers. Though the attraction has long since been removed, the attraction that took up the newly vacant lot, the Autobahn bumper cars, has experienced a bit of paranormal activity. Employees claim to hear odd clicking noises after hours, as well as disembodied conversation and laughter. Claims also include seeing odd shapes out of the corner of their eyes. Number 6, Six Flags New Orleans. Possibly one of the most infamous abandoned theme parks was also once a part of the Six Flags chain. However, intense flooding from devastating Hurricane Katrina caused the Louisiana theme park Six Flags New Orleans to close for good in the August of 2005. To this day, the park has never been reopened, and though the property is heavily guarded by police, urban explorers still penetrate the fences and come back with frightening ghost stories. While poisonous snakes and fire ants plague trespassers for more often than ghostly activity, some report odd sounds, such as the laughter of children or the starting up of a motor, which shouldn't be possible with a park cut off from the power grid. Like so many other parks on this list, explorers often see shadowy figures out of the corners of their eyes. Number 5, Kings Island. The next entry is one of the younger parks on this list. Kings Island, built near Cincinnati, Ohio, only finished its construction in 1972, though it would borrow a large number of rides from the nearby Coney Island after the park closed due to fears of flooding. Unlike Coney Island, however, Kings Island made the mistake of building too close to a 19th century cemetery. Some witnesses claim to see a young girl in a 19th century blue dress roaming the parking lot before disappearing. Others claim to see a white-clad boy roaming near the wooden coaster, Racer, earning him the adamantly quickly thought-up name of Racer Boy. Riders even claim to see him haunt the tunnels before disappearing as soon as the ride's trains make eye contact. Number 4, Daddy Park. The next park on this list can be found near Daddy's Belgium, though can be is a tad bit incorrect, because much like Six Flags New Orleans, Daddy Park is also currently abandoned. Built by a priest by the name of Gatson Dewar in 1950, Daddy Park had a strong religious theme to draw in tourists visiting a nearby Bascula. However, the park closed its doors in 2002 following a tragic accident in which a young boy lost his arm. Unlike Six Flags New Orleans, however, the ruins of Daddy Park were far easier to explore, and drunken teenagers would routinely haunt the abandoned location. According to a large swath of paranormal investigators, however, the teenagers weren't the only ones haunting it. Though the ghostly fare mostly consists of odd sounds and shadows, those with equipment have picked up electromagnetic fields and disembodied voices, if that sort of tech is to be believed. Number 3, Cedar Point. Located on a peninsula just outside of Sandusky, Ohio, Cedar Point is one of the U.S.'s most prolific theme parks. With Lake Erie as its backdrop, it's hard to call the peninsula's vistas anything but stunning, which is why the historic Hotel Breakers was built in 1905. However, the hotel has a haunting reputation, and many claim to hear ethereal crying and footsteps. Poltergeist activity has even been witnessed in room 169, where the legend says a distraught woman by the name of Mary hung herself. On top of that, the aforementioned antique carousel at Dorney Park once did a stint at Cedar Park, also garnering reports of a lady in white. However, other sources indicate that the same figure also haunts the Midway Carousel toward the front of the park, which also just happens to have been carved by Daniel Muller. Number 2, Walt Disney World. Finally, this list comes to the piece de resistance of theme parks, Disney World itself. This complex of 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and countless resort amenities began its existence in 1971. Though with a name as prolific as Disney, urban legends are bound to pop up among a resort boasting 39 square miles of acreage. Disney World is host to countless paranormal legends, such as the apparition of a maintenance worker lurking in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Then there are the creepy shadow apparitions in the abandoned River Country Water Park. A slew of poltergeist occurrences at Disney's Hollywood Studios Tower of Terror reportedly stem from a deceased bellhop cast member or the haunted dummy puppet found at the end of the ride. And number 1, Disneyland. If the Floridian Disney Park takes up the penultimate spot on this list, it should come as no surprise that the original Californian rendition should take first place. with a history 16 years older and a location in Anaheim that Walt Disney himself actually visited, the list of paranormal Disney experiences deepen. The most notable story involves the apparition of a little boy found within the On the Nose Haunted Mansion attraction. The story goes that a mother poured her son's ashes on the ride, an uncomfortably common occurrence for the Haunted Mansion. People often report seeing a red haired man in the line of Space Mountain who even strikes up a conversation with park patrons before disappearing on the roller coaster before their eyes.